I was a good girl, the kind of girl parents never had to worry about. I stayed home. I followed the rules. I did everything right. But somewhere along the way, I forgot to live. So here I am, telling you a story. The diary of a good girl. Not a perfect girl. Not a victim. Not a rebel. Just a girl trying to understand her own life, and maybe in the process helping someone else understand theirs. The diary of a good girl. I was a good girl. At least that's what everyone called me. The girl who listened. The girl who stayed home. The girl who didn't argue. The girl who understood. And maybe that's why nobody noticed how much of me was quietly disappearing. Growing up, I had dreams. Not extraordinary dreams. I wanted to explore new places. I wanted to have friends. I wanted to stay out a little longer. I wanted to make memories. The kind of memories people talk about years later. But most of the time, the answer was no. Not because I wasn't loved, not because anyone wanted to hurt me, but because the world can be frightening. Because safety mattered. Because people worry. Because daughters carry a different set of fears. And so I stayed home. While everyone else seemed to be collecting stories, I was collecting permission slips that were never signed. I watched life from windows, from phone screens, from stories posted by people who seemed free. And sometimes I wondered what it would feel like to simply go, to not have to explain, to not have to convince, to not have to ask. Years passed. I became responsible, disciplined, independent in some ways. But somewhere deep inside me lived a younger version of myself. A girl standing at the door with her shoes on, waiting. Waiting for someone to say yes. Waiting for life to begin. And one day I realized something. Life wasn't waiting for me. It was already happening. The birthdays, the friendships, the mistakes, the adventures. The days I thought would come later were quietly becoming yesterday. That realization hurt. Not because I blamed anyone. I don't. I know people were doing what they believed was best. I know love often looks like protection. I know fear can disguise itself as care. And I know raising a daughter isn't easy. But two things can be true at the same time. Someone can love you deeply and still not understand the dreams living inside your heart. Someone can protect you and still accidentally teach you to be afraid of your own wings. The hardest lesson wasn't learning how to leave home. It was learning that I didn't need permission to become myself. I didn't need permission to have opinions, to make friends, to explore, to create, to dream bigger, to take up space in my own life. Because one day this life will end. And I don't want my story to be about all the things I almost did. I want it to be about the things I was brave enough to try. Even if I failed, even if I looked foolish, even if it took me longer than everyone else. So if you are listening to this and you feel like you have spent years waiting for approval, waiting for confidence, waiting for the right moment, waiting for someone to finally choose you, this is your reminder. Life is not happening somewhere else. It is happening right now. You don't have to rebel. You don't have to hate anyone. You don't have to blame the people who raised you. But you do owe yourself the chance to become the person you have always wanted to be. Take the trip. Join the class. Start the channel. Make the friend. Write that story. Apply for the opportunity. Speak the truth. Because one day you'll meet the younger version of yourself again. And when you do, I hope you can tell her, we didn't do everything perfectly, but we finally lived. And that was enough. Maybe that's what growing up really is. Not becoming someone new, but finally becoming who you have always been. The girl who wanted to explore. The girl who wanted to create. The girl who wanted to laugh a little louder. Stay out a little longer. Dream a little bigger. She's still here. She never left. She was just waiting. Waiting beneath the expectations. Waiting beneath the fear. Waiting beneath all the version of herself she thought she had to be. And now, little by little, I'm learning to choose her. I'm learning to trust her. I'm learning to let her live. Not recklessly, not perfectly, just honestly. Because life was never meant to be watched from a window. It was meant to be lived. And if this chapter of my life has taught me anything, it's that courage doesn't always look like grand adventures. Sometimes courage looks like saying yes. Yes to yourself. Yes to your dreams. Yes to the life that's been waiting for you all along. So this is not a story about regret. It's a story about awakening. About realizing that there is still time. Time to explore. Time to grow. Time to begin again. And if you are still listening to this today, I hope you remember something. You are allowed to become. You are allowed to change. You are allowed to outgrow old fears. You are allowed to write a different ending. As for me, I'm still learning, still growing, still finding faith, still becoming the girl I was meant to be. And maybe that's why I'm writing this. Because this isn't the end of the diary. It's only the first page.